Welcome everyone on the second lecture of cardiology. In the previous lecture, I talked about the heart diseases and their subtypes, and today I will be talking about the congestive cardiac failure, which is the underheading of heart failure and which comes under the cardiac tissue disease. So, in congestive cardiac failure, the heart failure can be of two types: systolic heart failure and diastolic heart failure. And systolic heart failure is when the heart cannot pump enough, and diastolic heart failure is when the heart cannot fill enough. And if the systolic heart failure is called when the ejection fraction is less than 40%, it means that systolic volume decreases. And as diastolic heart failure, as it can't dilate enough to accommodate more blood, it means that there is decrease in end diastolic volume. But we can notice that in both there is decrease of blood supply to the body, and both leads to the congestion in the lungs. And the heart failure can be of three types. We can say that three types: right heart failure, left heart failure, and biventricular heart failure. So in left heart failure, we will divide the left heart failure into systolic and diastolic. Usually the left sided heart failure is systolic type. So the most common cause of systolic heart failure is ischemic heart disease. In this, as the heart tissue is damaged, so that part of myocardium will not be able to contract much. The second cause of systolic left-sided heart failure is chronic hypertension, in which due to hypertension, the arterial pressure will increase and there will be increase in afterload. And as the afterload increases, it will make harder for the heart to pump, and which will lead to hypertrophy of the myocardium. And when the myocardium is hypertrophy, then it will squeeze the coronary artery, and as the myocardium is hypertrophied, it means that the cell will need more energy, so the oxygen demand will increase, and which will lead to ischemic condition, and further there will be weaker contraction and will lead to systolic heart failure. The third cause can be dilated cardiomyopathy, and in this the cardiac chamber will be dilated very much, and which will accommodate the large amount of blood. So we can say that there will be increased preload. And as we remember about the Frank-Starling law, as the preload increases, the amount of contraction of the heart muscles increases. But here the preload is very much increased, and with over time the muscle will become thin and weak because there will be hypertrophy of the heart muscles, and which will lead to systolic heart failure, as the time will come when the heart will not able to pump much. Now let's talk about the diastolic heart failure. The same cause, chronic hypertension, it causes systolic heart failure also, diastolic heart failure also, because there is increase in afterload. Afterload increases, it will make the left ventricle to push the blood out very harder, and it will lead to hypertrophy. And as leading to hypertrophy, it will increase the size of the heart, which further decreases the capacity of the heart, which will lead to diastolic heart failure, aortic stenosis, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, restrictive cardiomyopathy. These both I will be dealing later in cardiomyopathy section. Now let's talk about the consequences of the left heart failure. When the heart fails, the blood supply to the kidney will decreases, and as the blood supply to kidney decreases, there will be activation of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, and this will lead to fluid retention. But in this condition, as already there is congestion and we are increasing the volume, then it will be a worse, and it will worse the symptoms of heart failure. And as there is backflow, then it will lead to congestion in the pulmonary artery, further leading to pulmonary edema, which will cause dyspnea. The patient will complain of dyspnea. And on when the patient will lie down, as the venous return will increase, it will further increase the load on heart, and which will further increases the backflow in the lungs, which will lead to dyspnea on lying down, which is called as orthopnea. As there is backflow in the liver, which will lead to pulmonary edema due to congestion, because the pulmonary capillary will rupture and there will be accumulation of the blood in the alveoli, which is called as pulmonary edema. And when the RBC will come into the alveoli, the macrophage will eat them up, which will lead to hemosiderin laden macrophage, which can be seen on microscopy. And these hemosiderin laden macrophages are also called as heart failure cells. This is a microscopy, and here we can see that these are the hemosiderin laden macrophage cells. There can be crackles or rails that can be heard on auscultation. The patient also complained of awakeness in the midnight. This is a specific symptom of left ventricular failure, because when the patient is in deep sleep after 1 to 2 hours of sleep, that can be REM sleep cycle when activates, it will increases the heart rate. In the REM cycle, the heart rate increases, and as the heart is already failing, and when the heart rate will increase, this will increase the failure of the heart, which will further lead to the congestion of the pulmonary vessels and leads to paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea. A few words on cardiac asthma. As the fluid is accumulating in the lung, which is gathering around the bronchi, which will increase the pressure in the bronchi and compress the airway, leading to bronchospasm. The feature is like asthma. Features of asthma are shortness of breath, wheezing and coughing. We can see the lateral shift of apical heartbeat also. So thank you. In next video I will be talking about right heart failure.